What's up, guys? Tongued up. Welcome to another episode of my Toyota Celica GT 1ZZ motor rebuilt. Even before the rebuild, when I was doing some work to the engine, then later on it started to have smoke coming out from the tailpipe, and I discovered it was caused by the motor oil going to the engine, burning it. So let me give you a little backstory on what's going on with this vehicle. So the car was running fine before, besides the running slightly lean issue. I went ahead and checked all the vacuum holes and everything is all good. Then I went ahead and replaced the intake manifold gasket and the exhaust manifold gasket. And after that, I put everything back together. That's when it started burning motor oil, and I couldn't figure why it did it. So basically I started troubleshooting it, and I went ahead and replaced the PCV valve, and also replaced the gasket underneath the oil cap. It didn't solve nothing. Then I decided to rebuild the whole motor, thinking that I had blow-by, and thinking this car engine got a lot of mileage on it. Maybe the rings were bad. So I went and tear up the whole motor and rebuilt everything, reassemble everything back together, and it was still doing the same thing. And I thought I didn't hone out the cylinder good enough, or maybe the rings I got did not quite fit correctly maybe, and I still got blow-by, and still sucking oil into the intake manifold. All those time I could not figure it out what's causing it. I mean, I have looked at the issue, maybe how to do a vacuum. So temporarily solve the problem so I can use the vehicle. I went ahead and basically run the hose into the into a can right here to catch any oil and release the pressure from inside, and it works fine, besides having a can right here. And I went and cap off the nipple over here, since I cannot connect them together, otherwise the oil suck in here. And give a lot of thought about this motor. Maybe when I was like taking out the intake manifold, maybe I cleaned it with a screwdriver. Maybe I break something in there. I couldn't figure it out. Maybe there's a tiny little hole in there causing some pressure build up in there. After all the work I did to this motor right here, I still got the same issue, and I went ahead and got another motor, and I'm thinking I'm gonna rebuild this one here, clean it up and put it back into the car. But it'll take me some time to get this thing clean up and replace some of the parts in there, make it more reliable. And I was talking to somebody, and he told me about the vacuum hose. I said, there's only two vacuum hoses. I mean, they don't really fit into each other. They only go one way. Well, that's what I thought was the problem. And I was kind of stubborn, thinking I did it correctly. And if I have listened, maybe somebody else probably mentioned it before too, but I thought I put everything back together correctly, because in my mind I was thinking they only go in one way, because the size of the hoses, they're not the same size. I did not go ahead and maybe do research on it and see how these hoses go together. I was thinking that I was doing correctly, and so this friend of mine, and he said, yeah, maybe your hose is hooked up incorrectly. And I told him, no, it's right, it's fine how it is. Then, you know, just for the heck of it, let me go online and do a little research on it. Then what I found out, see how I have this hose right here? This has got the PCV, this hose coming in here and connect in front of the throttle body. I got this hose right here connected to the on the intake manifold side. So let me show you the picture of the correct way of connecting it. The hose have the PCV valve actually come and connect it to the intake manifold side, not in front of the throttle body. This hose right here actually go in front of the throttle body, because when the engine is revving high, it do a lot of suction, and this hose right here got a lot of suction, which connected to the PCV valve. So when the car is running on high RPM, it basically sucked the little BBs in there to shut the valve off. And how I had it before, I connected this one to here, and since this is like got a lot of vacuum in it, and it just suck it from here into here, sucking oil and everything. So when I hook it straight to the can's empty. There's nothing in there, just vapor, and it never accumulate any kind of oil inside. So I'm gonna do is hook this hose. Let me go and remove this one here. This hose right here actually go to this side, and it fits in here. And this hose here, this hose will go in here. Let me go look for another hose, since I modified this one here to fit in here, and hopefully that will solve the problem. And also, before, when I drive the car, somehow there's some kind of, I don't know, there's some pressure inside the engine. I don't know, it's like it's positive suction or negative suction, and the engine making some kind of whining noise. I thought it was a belt doing it. I went and bought a new belt. I never installed it. Find out that's not the issue. So right now I'm gonna hook everything correctly in there. I'm gonna go for a test drive and see if I get that build up pressure into from the engine. If it does not have that little whining noise in there, then I mean everything is worked correctly. Alright, just came back from the test drive. I got no issue. The car is running perfect. No string sound coming from the engine compartment. The engine is idling real smooth. Yeah, so the engine runs smooth, no issues. Everything's running basically perfect. Just because I mess up on these two hoses right here, causing all these big headache that I got. How to deal with, you know, basically tearing it apart, putting it back together, and take everything apart, put it back together, and rebuild the whole engine. Just because I make a stupid mistake. And not only that, I didn't bother to go back and check online and see how these hoses hook up. If I have done that, I would have caught the problem right there already. I'm pretty sure somebody probably mentioned to me, but of course, being stubborn, didn't follow up on it. But the good thing is, for me being stupid, I learned how to rebuild a 1ZZ motor and learn about all the mechanical stuff on this motor. So I'm very familiar with this motor now, and so I got that motor over there, which I'm gonna rebuild later on. And if this engine ever have issue, I can put the other engine back in here. Plan to use this car at least 8 more years before you know, I retire, and hopefully it'll last longer than that. But so far everything is in this car is been replaced, so I want to keep it for a while. Hopefully this video was helpful on not to make the same mistake that I did, flip-flopping these two hoses here, causing all this, you know, problem of sucking oil into the engine. And alright, so talk to you later. Bye.